What's up, everybody? Back with the old 63 here. I've done a couple videos over the past month or so. I just haven't posted them up yet. I put a low car transmission mounted shifter in here, and I did a little video on that, just some tips and tricks, but I'll get to those eventually. This video is actually about the fuel system setup that I'm going to use. I've been debating for months which I was trying to figure out what I was going to go with. Whether I was going to go with a fuel cell or a fuel tank. There's tons of options out there, even just using like Blazer tanks, Mustang tanks. I believe you can use a Jeep Wrangler tank, but none of it fit really what I was trying to do as far as the like the sending the pickup or pump, I guess the pump hanger. None of it was going to fit my system, and I didn't want to have to modify any of that stuff. There was the Boyd's tank option, but for one, it's ridiculously expensive, and it only comes with, I think, 2 pump options. You can do a Holly or an Aeromotive, and for the $900 that they charge for it, I wasn't going to let them tell me what pump I was going to have to run. The pumps that come with them are too small for what I want anyway. Tanks Incorporated, I didn't do that because it's steel tank, and then I really didn't have to worry about tucking the tank down into the frame because I have a big monster notch in there anyway for the air ride, so I'm gonna have to raise my bed floor, so as long as I stay below that notch with any fuel cell or any tank I use, I'm fine. So what I ended up doing is I ended up going with an RCI. Let me flip my camera around here. I ended up going with an RCI fuel cell. Everything I read online prior to purchasing said that they're not baffled. A lot of the aftermarket tanks out there, fuel cells that are universal, are not baffled. I called them and talked to them before I bought it, and they said all of their EFI ready universal tanks are baffled. You can see in there it's baffled. $350. This is actually how it came. It's got return vent, it's got the filler, and then the sending unit there for fuel level. The only thing that I did not like about this tank, and didn't even think about it when I bought it, is they use a 16 bolt flange setup. That's very, very, very uncommon. It's normally either a 12, I think, or a 6. Like, that's your 2 options. And there's a big oval. I believe the oval is a 16 bolt also, but obviously it doesn't fit the round hole. So there's only 2 places that I've found that actually make that 16 bolt hanger. One is RCI and the other one is Tanks Incorporated. Both of them look like they've been built out of a scrap bin. They're just thin sheet metal. They don't even have the right fitting sizes that I needed. And you clamp the pump to the hanger with hose clamps. And I for $180 something from Tanks Incorporated, and $125 from RCI, I wasn't gonna use hose clamps to hold my pump on. On top of that, they both come with cork gaskets, and if you're running E85, most likely you're going to want to have a Viton gasket. So I ended up figuring out what the bolt pattern was, and then I just made my own. This is a 16 bolt setup. It's got a -8 feed, -6 return. It adjusts up to 13 inches. This pump clamp here, I actually made this one, and then I made another version of this same exact clamp that has another side to it. So if you want to run, or I wanted to run dual pumps ever, I could. The only thing I don't have so far is I needed to pop a hole in it to run a bulkhead through for the wiring. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is pulling this -6 out and putting the bulkhead in there, and then running the wiring which is this thing here. I'm gonna make a new one of these also. It's like a 12 gauge wire, and I got a whole pack of those connectors for my fuse box setup I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make one of those with 10 gauge, plug it into this, and then run it through a bulkhead. And then on the other side here, I'm gonna put another one of these plugs, and then just have a female plug coming from my fuse box or relay. And then instead of my return coming in through here, I'll just utilize the return that's actually already in the tank, because it goes down in there. I'll just use that instead, and I'll just convert that from a -8 to a -6 with a 90. But yeah, the only thing I ended up having to buy was I did get on Tanks Inc. and buy the Viton ring gasket, and I did have to buy the split ring from them. I didn't have to, but I did because it was just easier for me. I bought the split ring from them that goes in the you put it in the tank, and then it's got 16 1032 bolts that come up through the tank. You throw your Viton gasket on, and then drop your pump hanger right down onto it and throw some nuts on it. I think that ended up costing me like $55 for both things. So yeah, when I built this one here, I ended up machining one. I fucked up a little bit. I originally made it where I machined it all out and then just drilled and counterbored holes for the fittings. I had to counterbore them because these weren't long enough for me to get the nut on. The threads weren't long enough for me to get the nut on. So I ended up counterboring them, and then once I got it all done, I realized I didn't counterbore it far enough or big enough in diameter. So I ended up machining this out manually and ended up popping through into where my hanger part bolted into it right there, which wouldn't have been a big deal because once I put the bolt in it, the bolt actually sealed that hole up and was perfect. But I didn't like it, and I just made a new one. I like how much cleaner it looks anyway without the big oval cut, and then I just counterbored the bottom. It's a little cleaner looking, and that's why I also want to try to use that for the bulkhead instead of popping a third hole in it, and when I don't even need to do that anyway. That's already got the spot for it. So yeah, total this cost me, it's the Walbro 525 Hellcat pump. That's a part number if anybody wants one. But yeah, I've probably got maybe about $70 in the whole setup because everything else from work was just scrap. I built it out of scrap just like RCI and them do. Mine just looks prettier. But total, it cost me probably, like I said, probably about $70. For the actual pump hanger itself, I think the fuel pump itself was like $140 or something. I can't remember. But yeah, that's the setup. I think I'm going to make a couple of these and kind of advertise them out there in case anybody wants to go with that same setup. And I also made a tank mounting thing here. I still got to paint it and pop some holes in the frame, and then make some channel to run across there so I can actually hold it down. But yeah, once I get this dropped in here and get my fuel lines ran, I should be able to get I gotta get the fuel lines ran and then plug my Terminator X kit in. I should be able to get it to fire up. I'll obviously make a video of that too, but I just want to show everybody the fuel tank or fuel cell. It's a great option if you're wanting to, if you can fit a fuel cell, and money, I don't want to say money's a problem, but you just don't want to spend the money on anything else, and you want something you know is going to work. This is a great option. Like I said, $350 for the tank. If you want to go with the $125 pickup, it'll work for any normal motor. It's just the fittings coming out of both of the hangers, the fuel pump hangers from both RCI and Tanks Incorporated. I think like they're like -6 on both sides. Actually, I think they're MPT fittings, but they're MPT. The fittings they tell you that fit it are, I think, quarter MPT to -6, and it's just too small for what I needed. But I think for any normal, just a stock motor, or even not a stock motor, I think that'll work. So you can get the whole setup without a fuel pump for probably right around like $450, $500. Maybe $650 with a pump. So much cheaper than the 900. But yeah, I'm gonna make like I said, I'm gonna make a couple of these pump setups, or the hanger setups that I made here, and like I said, I'll advertise them out there somewhere, probably on one of the truck forums or LS forums on Facebook. Obviously, if anybody's interested in one, you can leave a comment in the video, the message, whatever. I don't know how it works. I'm old, but yeah, just get a hold of me, leave a comment, and I'll try to get a hold of you. And like I said, if anybody has any questions about this, what I've done here, or anything else that I've done, just let me know. Feel free. If there's anything anybody needs, if anybody wants it's custom, if you can make a drawing of it by hand, most likely I can redraw it and make it. So if you have any ideas, anything you want, feel free to let me know. And hopefully we'll be back here soon with a video of this thing starting, and then I can start on actually finishing up the turbo setup on it. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys later on.